Hey there, Earthlings. Thanks for tuning in to the Bardo Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Bardo, where we talk about health, happiness, and anything else that's important to us humans. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the podcast by visiting thebardo.com or just click the little subscribe button wherever you listen to the podcast. And be sure to check out my Instagram at thebardo for all the latest videos and content. Thanks so much and enjoy the episode.
You're just funny. It's funny, the way you tell the story and everything.
Funny how?
Come here though. Yeah, he's crazy, see? Who are you?
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Are you ready?
Oh, well, greetings. How is everybody? Holy shit. I'm so sorry. It's been weeks since I put out a podcast. I hope you will continue to subscribe to the show. Do not hold this against me. I've just been going through a career change and just been working, really hard to ensure I land on the right gig. Point in fact, I did. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching me on YouTube, I'm wearing their shirt right now. I'm a couple weeks into this job as the National Shopper Marketing Manager for Focus. And if you're not familiar with Focus, is a caffeinated sparkling water. Really great company. I mean, just overall, their message of health, wellness, wanting to be a better for you beverage really inspired me. They're only about 4 years old. You can check them out at drinkfocus.com. It's so interesting when you find a company not only that you're passionate about, but it aligns with your values a little bit. And, maybe at my last job, it did align for a little bit. But as I've gotten older and I like to think wiser, some would disagree. But, I've gotten wiser, I think, and you have to believe in what you do for a living. And I'm super, super confident and excited to work for this company. So thank you, Drink Focus. Big things to come. And for my fans and listeners out there, if you don't mind, pick up a couple cans. You can find it at your local Publix or CVS, or just visit drinkfocus.com and you could see where to purchase those, as well as Amazon, of course. Everything's on Amazon now. But I just want to say thanks and say sorry. Don't be mad at me. It's been a couple weeks, but I'm excited because we got a lot of things going on. The next episode after this is going to be with comedian Heather Shaw, so you won't just have to hear me talk on every episode. I will be having guests on again. I'm booking those out as we speak. I'm just, of course, trying to figure out timing-wise, make sure, I work my normal 8 to 6. Yes, that's right, 8 to 6. And then after that, I can do a podcast. So I just got off work, and I wanted to talk a little bit about mental health, because I talk a lot about health, wellness, physically, working out, of course, eating right, things like that. I don't talk as much about mental health as I probably should. And I don't say should because I'm not an expert by any means. So do not take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm just saying from personal experience. And I think that's what 80% of the podcasts is personal experience, just kind of, telling you what we're going through as a podcaster. And as you as a listener, hopefully you gather some stuff from my podcast and then do your own research. But, I don't think we think about it enough, and we probably should. I know I thought about that a lot. I took a few days off when I left my last job, and I got a chance to reflect, and again, this is what I'm talking about, where I just kind of took some time to think, what do I want to do with my next career? And of course, I love creating content, and I love doing the podcast and stuff, which I could still do that on the side. I took the time to actually, reflect a little bit. And it made me think about this podcast that I want to talk to you guys about, because with everything going on with COVID, sometimes we don't understand that we're dealing with some shit right now. Just try to comprehend, especially if you're a younger kid out there, comprehend what you're going through. And if you're a little bit older, maybe you've had some struggles, like I did, looking for a new career. Maybe you have, God forbid, a death in the family, or someone who's dealing with tragedy, and mentally it's a strain. It really is. And not just a strain on you, but strain on your loved ones. And we don't talk about it enough. Very similar to how a lot of people don't talk about physical fitness. Unless you follow shit on Instagram, you're not really up to date with the best way to be, healthier physically as well. So Again, I'm not an expert, but I think I wanted to take a couple topics, and I found this really great website that I get, a lot of research from. It's medlineplus.gov. Of course, you can get, information from CDC and, whatever you're into. But this in particular, I think, is important because it talks a lot about how you can improve mental health. And we have to think to ourselves, what we are dealing with is this virus? Yeah. But you're also dealing with not being able to interact with as many people as we normally do. Not being able to go out and do the things that you, maybe the things that make you happy, right? So what are you doing? You're staying at home and you're on your fucking phone and you're looking at TikTok and Instagram and you're living vicariously through this little screen. And that's no way to live, man. How can we improve our mental health without going outside and doing the stuff that we're doing? Because we're still kind of getting this pressure on, COVID is the big bad, bear out there that we can't go outside and interact. So what can I do? Well, I'm going to lay this down on you and then I'll kind of add my 2 cents a little bit. But again, you can look at this info on medlineplus.gov, how to improve your mental health. So one big thing to improve mental health, it says, is staying positive. It's important to have a positive outlook. In some ways, might include finding balance between positive and negative emotions. Staying positive doesn't necessarily mean that you never feel negative emotions, such as sadness or anger. You need to feel them so that you can actually move through those difficult situations. Negative emotions are very important. They can help you respond to a problem, but you don't want those emotions to take over your life. For example, it's not helpful to keep thinking about bad things that happened in the past or worry too much about the future. So we'll stop right there. So I think that's pretty relevant to what we're dealing with today, right? No matter what happened the last 2 years, it's kind of a challenge, right? Yeah, there's been some negative shit. Bad things have happened, for sure, 100%. But at the same time, you don't want to focus too much on the future. Oh, what are things going to be like a year from now? What are things going to be like 5 years from now? What happens if the pandemic never... If we stop living in the what ifs, I think we're going to naturally be a lot more positive. And I think this is what this is saying. It continues to read, trying to hold on to positive emotions when you have them is a great way to stay positive. For example, when you actually get those positive emotions, when something great does happen to you, like this, when I started this new career, man, I was excited. We celebrated, we talked, we laughed. I spent time with the wife, spent time with my father and my parents, and we just kind of got a chance to discussed it and, had people over and drank some wine and laughed. And we didn't think about the past. The past is over. We thought about the present. That moment, we lived in that positivity. And it was great. It feels really good. And I'm still kind of living on that high weeks later. But I think that's what this article is talking about. Another way to stay positive is taking a break from negative information. So know when to actually stop reading the news, it says. And I think we all could relate with that, right? Use social media to reach out for support and feel connected to others, but be very careful. Don't fall for rumors. Get into arguments or negatively compare your lives to others. And I think that's a great segue to kind of what we're talking about is social media. Do we need it as much as we're on it? At the end of the day, these things are drugs. This phone is a drug. It gives you that hit of dopamine, and it's like a drug. It's like doing a hit, right? Like every time you put your phone down, you start having those withdrawal symptoms. Like you really want to take that hit again, right? So there's a lot of truth to that. So I think it's important to know when you can actually say stop and not do this. I don't know about other phones, but I know the iPhone, my wife is really good at this, where you can actually set up a timer on certain apps. So for instance, she's a TikTok drug addict. So every time she's on TikTok, I don't know what the limit is. I think it's like an hour or something. So throughout the day, if she does like 30 minutes in the morning, and then at the end of the night, if it's 30 minutes at night, it'll actually give her an alert and it'll say, you're 5 minutes away from hitting your limit. And then once you hit that limit, it'll block you. And then it'll say, you've hit your limit. Do you want to continue or close the app? Or you could press ignore. So if you're really a drug addict, you just press ignore and forget about it. But I think it's good practice where it kind of trains you to only be on at a certain time. So that's just something I would look up. Again, if you have an iPhone, I know you can do it with each individual app. I don't know what it's like on other devices, but I would definitely look into that. That's pretty cool. What's another way to improve mental health? Let's continue to read this. Practicing gratitude, which means being thankful for the good things in your life. It's helpful to do this every single day, either by thinking about what you're grateful for, writing it down in a journal could also be very helpful. These are big things such as the support you have for loved ones, or the little things, such as enjoying a nice home-cooked meal. It's important to allow yourself a moment to enjoy that you have a positive experience. Practicing gratitude can actually help you see your life differently. For example, when you're stressed out, you may not notice that there are also moments when you have some positive emotions. Gratitude can help you recognize those positive emotions. So again, that's just great practice as well. Gratitude is very important, not just for yourself, but I think for others as well. Sharing those moments with loved ones is important, but it's also to do that on your own. When you do have those little wins, I think it's important that you just sit back and reflect on yourself. That's very important. But if your maybe loved one got some good news, share that moment. Take in that moment and soak it in, and don't just post something on social media right away. Really just sit and soak it in. One big practice that someone told me, and I'm going back a few years now, but when the wife and I got married, one of the best pieces of advice we've ever gotten from someone is they said, at your wedding, it's going to go by so quick, you're not going to know what hit you. But, the one thing that you should do is, number one, during your wedding, you should step aside, away from everybody, go into a corner where no one will bother you, or maybe even no one could see you. That sounds kind of creepy, dark corner. But you go into a corner and the whole wedding party and everyone's hanging out. And you could probably do this for a birthday party or, baby shower or whatever. But step aside and just take a look at that moment and just frame up all those people that are in that room and just soak that in. Don't take a picture, just soak it in and plant it in your brain. And we did that. And man, let me tell you something, that was incredible. I remember the corner. I remember what we were doing. We didn't even look at each other. We looked at everyone else. I remember that very vividly. And it was a great moment. And, that's just that gratitude of having everybody there in that room at that moment. Is probably never going to happen again. Like those 100 people or however many people were at your wedding or your birthday or whatever. But if you could soak in that moment, it's pretty great. Getting kind of misty thinking about it. And the other thing someone, told me was also gratitude in the wedding video, because we had a wedding video, which I edited myself, but we watched that at least every like 3 months or 4 months. And it just kind of helps us live back in that moment. So if you have, a piece of content that you can reflect on to look at, again, it just kind of shows you what happened. And you're not necessarily living in the past, but, like it says earlier, you're staying positive and you're staying in a good moment because you're soaking in that one specific moment in time. And I think that's important to not just have gratitude, but also just keep you positive. It's all about the content we consume, right? Like you talk about social media. I mean, every time you consume content, whether it's good or bad, it's going to affect you. And if you're consuming nothing but bad content on your phone, on TV, you're watching nothing but horror movies, I mean, it's going to affect you mentally, right? So again, just staying positive and practicing that gratitude. Another great thing to improve mental health, it says taking care of your physical health. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this because we do that a lot on this podcast, but I think there is a couple key points talking about this. So taking care of your mental health, since your physical and mental health are actually connected, some ways to take care of your physical health may include being physically active, getting enough sleep, and eating healthy. Good nutrition will actually help you feel better physically and could also improve your mood, decreasing anxiety and stress. Also, not having enough certain nutrients could contribute to mental illness, such as B12 and zinc, amongst other nutrients as well. So again, these are just great practices for eating health. We talk a lot about this on the podcast, but eating healthy is a huge part of not just physical health, but mental health as well, which is why I want to talk more about mental health today. Another thing you could do to practice good mental health is connecting with others. Humans are social creatures, and it's important to have strong, healthy relationships with others. Having good social support may help protect you against harms of stress. It's also good to have different types of connections. Besides connecting with your family and friends, you could find ways to get involved with your community or even your neighborhood. For example, you could volunteer for a local organization or join a group that focuses on a hobby that you enjoy. Again, just a great practice here where you can connect with others. I do a lot of that with my neighbors. There's, a fitness routine that I personally follow, but everyone's different. So what I've decided to do is write out just examples, numerous examples based on my neighbors' body fat content, weight, height, etc. And I just kind of gave them my example. Hey, this is what I would do if I was you. They obviously see a nutritionist and a doctor, which I encourage them to do. But now they're seeing some very good results, not based off everything I did, of course, but I wanted to do what I could to push them in the right direction. And sometimes it takes that neighbor or that friend to do so. So I think that's very important as well. Get involved in the community, get involved with your neighbors. Dave Chappelle actually has a great, I forget what it was. It might have been maybe 2 specials ago, but he had a great saying that I think called out to me. He says, we're never going to fix the world. You right there, you person listening, you cannot fix the world on your own, but you could fix the next block. You could fix your community, but it's going to be tough to fix the world. So if we all just do our part and fix the block or fix the corner or fix our neighborhood, we're all going to be in the right spot. Take that and think about that with your community. Another way to increase your to help improve your mental health, develop a sense of meaning and a purpose of life. This could be through a job, through volunteering, maybe learning new skills, or exploring spirituality. Now, of course, when we talk about purpose of life, develop a sense of meaning and a purpose of life. We don't really know, right? We don't really know what our purpose is, but I think, just my opinion, I don't know if each of us have a purpose. I think our purpose in life is to enjoy every moment. There's only so much we can do. There's examples of people that come into this life with nothing and make large amounts of success, but then when we leave this earth, we leave with nothing. But your legacy is helping your family. Well, what if you don't have a family, right? You came in this earth with nothing, you're leaving this earth with nothing, and you're leaving the earth nothing. And I don't know if we owe the earth anything. I just think we're guests at this resort, and when you're at a resort, you take care of the resort and you check out when you check out, and that's it. When you go to a resort, you don't really ask anything except, you want it to be habitable, but you treat it with respect. And that's how I look at things here, where we're supposed to enjoy our time, but we're supposed to be respectful. And, when we leave, we leave. What's my purpose? My purpose is just to soak up every single moment that I can, enjoy it, treat others with respect and kindness, and, surround myself with people that I love. What else can you do, man? I don't know if there's a right solution to that thing. That's mine, right? What is yours? You got to find yours. Maybe it's volunteering, maybe it's learning a new skill, something like that. But I think that's important to grasp on sooner than later for sure. Another way to improve mental health is developing coping skills, which are methods you use to deal with stressful situations. They may help you face a problem, take action, be flexible, and not easily give up in a solving situation. So coping skills, how do you cope with problems or stressful situations? I have my own way. I won't give that to you. I'll let you figure it out. But one way it lists here is meditation. There are many types of meditation. Meditation usually involves a quiet location with few distractions as possible, a specific comfort posture. This could be sitting, lying down, walking, or another position. A focus of attention, such as a special chosen word or set of words, an object, or your breathing. An open attitude where you can try to let distractions come and go naturally without judging. I have not gotten big into meditation. I have not figured that out. It takes a very strong individual to calm down, but I am working on it. It's one of my big goals for 2022. But the last and final way to improve your mental health is relaxation techniques. Very similar to meditation, I would assume, but relaxation techniques are practices you do to produce your body's natural relaxation response. This slows down your breathing, lowers your blood pressure, and reduces muscle tension and stress. Types of relaxation techniques include progressive relaxation, where you tighten and relax different muscle groups, sometimes while using mental imagery or breathing techniques. Guided imagery, where you focus on positive images in your mind to help you feel more relaxed and focused. Biofeedback, where you use electric devices to learn to control certain body functions. That sounds terrible. Self-hypnosis, where the goal is to get yourself into a relaxed, trance-like state when you hear a certain suggestion or see a specific cue. Lastly, deep breathing exercises, which involve focusing on taking slow, deep, and even breaths. That is one thing that I'm combining with cold therapy. I'm excited. I just got this ice barrel that I won in a contest, and that is getting shipped to me. But I keep reading and I keep hearing a lot about taking ice baths and doing a lot of slow breathing exercises, focused breathing exercises, really will help kickstart your immune system and release a lot of great benefits to your body. So I'm really excited to get more into that. And I'd love to do a podcast with some experts on that to kind of know more. But other than that, guys, I mean, listen, I know I'm just reading an article here, and I'll leave the links here. So if you just want to skip the podcast and read the article for yourself, you can. But the reason why I don't want you to think I'm an expert on this, because I'm not, but I wanted to read this to you and talk about this to you because I don't know if you're going to do the research on your own. And I'd like you to, but I don't think you're going to. But hopefully if you listen to my podcast, you won't have to do the research because I'm reading it for you. I want to create ways to not just educate you all, but it's also educating me too. I'm learning stuff by doing this as well. I'm just kind of taking you on the journey. So you can take it with a grain of salt if you want, but I hope you will take a few things from this and not just do it yourself, but tell your loved ones to do it. Tell a friend, tell a family. I don't need the credit, man. Just spread the love and spread the word yourself. And, let's continue to be better humans all around. Because I think if, we all have better mental health, right? Better physical health, then overall we're just going to be better people, right? And if we're all better people, then the world's going to be better. I don't know. It doesn't seem complicated. Here's the hard part, is getting to do it. That's the hard part, right? Not eating Cheetos and Mountain Dew is going to be hard. I get it, but it's going to make you healthier. It's not just going to help you out physically, but mentally as well. I mean, studies show that all these chemicals we're putting in our body, it's not good for us. It's going to fuck you up, your body and your mind. That's one thing I love about, Focus is if, once you look up our ingredients, it's incredible. There's only a couple ingredients and it tastes good. And it has a little bit of caffeine, but not a lot of caffeine. Because why do we need all this caffeine for? It's a stimulant. It's gonna fuck you up. Or it's gonna mess up your mind. It's gonna get you in a weird spin to where if you don't have the caffeine, you start getting angry. And then once you get angry, you release your aggression on your friends and your family and your loved ones. The next thing you know, now you're this angry dude just, running around the house. Anything we input in our body is gonna affect us mentally and physically. So when you're seeing people more often than not that are angry or that just, are in a bad way, it's probably because some type of stimulant has messed them up, whether it's over the counter or not. We got to be more mindful about what we're putting in our body. And I think once we can figure that out, man, we're on the right track. You feel me? But I hope this was helpful, guys and gals. Thanks for listening, as always, to the show. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Click the subscribe button. Leave a review. I'd love to know what you guys think. Again, just spread the word. Tell your friends. Visit theberardo.com to find out everything that I'm doing and all the content out there that I got going on. So thanks again, and we will talk soon. Peace.